The Independent Foreign Observers Mission in Nigeria has urged candidates and political parties that took part in the 2023 presidential elections to strictly abide by the series of peace of accords they signed prior to the exercise. The foreign mission, who was addressing newsmen in Abuja, also called on their supporters to exercise restraint since Nigeria has a robust judicial system that is able to adjudicate on the outcome of the election. The leader of Team Foreign Observers Mission, Daniel Funad, however, charged INEC to continue to follow its process and increase the transparency with which it has been handling the exercise.
Conclusion that I would like to emphasize. It is our opinion that in the aftermath of elections, candidates are free to approach the courts or electoral tribunals for a review of the election process towards establishing whether or not the electoral process was compromised or not. This means it's not to be tried in the press, it's to be tried through official means. Still ongoing. Again, it's very difficult to give a final judgment on something when the actual process of counting the votes is still going on. I think you'll see from the statement that we feel pretty strongly that this election has provided transparency, and transparency is the first step, toward credibility. But again, I don't think we want to put our absolute stamp of credibility on this until they finish counting the votes, because it just hasn't all finished yet. The process is not finished until it's finished. We've seen similar problems in Kenya. I happen to reside in Kenya and have been there for the last 3 elections. And we've seen some similar problems where new technology is coming in, and there's been some polling stations that maybe haven't followed procedures, while others have had technical problems. And again, I think one of the things that you'll see in the statement is we're urging people to take this through a process. Yeah, that it's fair to be aggrieved, and it's fair to say that you're unhappy about something, but really this kind of thing needs to be investigated, because otherwise you're going to have people pointing fingers from all directions, and it needs to be an established and organized and procedural way to vet this. I think that there were a lot of people that were putting a lot of pressure on this count to be done right now. And just the fact that they've delayed the collation to make sure that they're following procedures, to try to straighten out any hiccups they have, is something that gives us confidence, that they are doing their best to see this process through in a way that will eventually meet the credibility test.
They concluded that the presidential elections in Nigeria recorded a high turnout of voters nationwide, which they said can also be regarded as one of the most transparent elections in the country's history, with the significant candidates recording victories and defeats. They appealed to the observer groups of supranational organizations to moderate their utterances and reporting in order not to descend into partisanship as they are currently tending towards. They must also avoid the temptation of setting standards that their own countries cannot maintain on Nigeria's elections.
I had the pleasure to visit one of the main polling stations in Abuja, and there it immediately became clear how difficult it is to come and vote, because there was no transport. Even myself, I didn't have a car sticker, so I had to walk to the polling station. And in the Abuja heat, that's quite a challenge, especially if you're carrying stuff. But what I saw was a relatively calm situation. The only stress that was there was people trying to find their names on the registration list. And that was a kind of stressful event at that moment. But I found the INEC staff reacting to that very professionally. And then they gave people numbers so they could queue in a nice way. That also gave me an opportunity to speak to them. So at that particular polling station, things were fine. So I could say that INEC there did a good job.